Woof. Woof. KZ4 Bravo.
Hello, CQ calling. CQ, the old friends net. This is N4LQ. The old friends net is an amplitude modulation net, and we can accept anybody and love to have you if you can generate an AM signal. We operate here every Sunday at 4 p.m. and on Tuesday and Thursday at 8 a.m. here on 3715, and we operate in the round table fashion. So we'll take a list of check-ins. This is N4LQ listening.
Good afternoon, Steve, WA4LLR.
KG4IUQ.
KZ4 Bravo.
WB4NKL.
K4JAL.
WA4EVK.
WA4FJQ.
November 4, Alpha, Kilo, N4. WF2U.
WB4ARK.
W4MEC.
WF2U.
This is N4LQ. Got a nice list there. Do we have any more check-ins? All right, here's what we got. Starting out, WA4LLR, KG4IUQ, KZ4B, WB4NKL, K4JAL, WA4EVK, WA4FJQ, N4AK, WF2U, WB4ARK, and W4MEC. Do we have anybody that I missed or that needs to be added to the list? Go ahead.
N4IYQ.
All right, got Chuck, N4IYQ. Anybody else?
K4ELT.
Would you repeat your call again a little slower, please?
Kilo 4 Echo Lima.
Oh, yeah, K4EL. Yeah, I remember you, Gene. Okay, real good. Glad to have you. Anybody else? Okay, very good. I'll go down the list real quick. LLR, IUQ, 4B, NKL, JAL, EVK, FJQ, AK, 2U, ARK, MEC, IYQ, and then K4EL, and then Gene, you'll give it back to me at the end of your transmission. Do we have anybody else? All right, it's the last day of November, starting another new month, and like Charlie said in his email, it seems to have gone awfully fast. I tell you what, the older you get, I think maybe it actually does go faster constantly. I don't know where it's going to wind up. Anyway, it's 41 here, kind of a cool day, and it's been spitting rain and just kind of gloomy looking all day here in Shelby. I'm running the Amico TX86, driving the AL82 amplifier, and Need to reduce the power a little. Yeah, I'll tell you what. It's there we go. All right, I don't want to be too hard on those 3-500s. I try to keep it down to like 250 or so at the most. I don't like getting up over 300 watts. That's pushing things. A lot of heat going on in a linear amplifier under these conditions. So we'll go ahead and pass it around for our first round of the Old Friends Net. And everybody's looking forward to the luncheon on this coming Thursday in Spartanburg, I'm sure. WA4LLR, N4LQ.
All right, Steve. N4LQ and the Old Friends, all 14 of us. WA4LLR, good afternoon to everybody. Hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving with family and friends. And resting up after the festivities. 45 degrees, overcast. We've had a pretty good ice storm this morning, made going to church a little bit interesting about 9 o'clock. But things have melted out now, of course, and looks like we may have some interesting weather coming up the next couple of days. So running the Harvey Wells, the TBS 50D, with quite a bit of help from the SB220. Looks like just about 200 watts, somewhere in that ballpark, and receiving on the Drake 2A. So let's go down to Mark, see what he's running today. KG4IUQ, WA4LLR.
Thank you, Dave. This is KG4IUQ. I'm running the Night Kit T150. The receiver is Hammarlund HQ110. I'm putting out about, I guess, 100 watts, about 16 watts carrier. I plan on attending the Thursday luncheon in Spartanburg. I look forward to that. I don't have to work that day. Seems like I'm getting more days off lately, which has been good in a way for me. It's about 40 degrees here at the house. I'll send it on over to John, KZ4 Bravo. This is KG4IUQ.
Okay, KG4IUQ and the group KZ4B Fine Business, Mark. I wonder, you sound great. You're just pounding in here. It's like you're next door, and everybody's coming in great so far, so conditions are quite good. And the noise level, even though it's pizzling here, which could create power line noise, is only about S6. And signals so far are 10/9 as a minimum. And for my stingy S meter, that's great doing. But Mark, are you barefoot? You sound like you're feeding a 10 kW amplifier, so come clean with us. And shifting gears, I have night schedules that conflict with Steve's deal on 160, and I use a SGC 500 power cube, and the supply for it is I think it's a 175. I forget the prefix, but it's a 75 amp solid state switching power supply. And I had the one I was using to crap out on me. It wouldn't even come on. So I assume a blown fuse. But there is no external fuse holder. So I've got to take the cover off and see if there is a semi-replaceable fuse. But I replaced it with its twin, and so far so good. We'll see how that goes. We are running the T150 today, or were, yeah, no, we still are. And I looked at the meter and it didn't look like it was moving, but it was my fault, not the meters. And like I say, the T150 is driving the L82, and so that's a setup here, feeding a inverted V dipole up about 75 feet in the very cold air, and at the end of a long run of coax, but there's apparently not too much loss on 80 meters. So, over to the ever-powerful Cliff, WB4NKL and the group KZ4B, over.
Yeah, KZ4B, it's WB4NKL. Thank you, John. Running the Globe King 500 again today, and it was tuned up from Thursday, and I don't guess I've been back out here since. I checked into the 3885 group from the basement there Friday. Got same as you, Steve, 41 degrees and a light misty rain that's been going on all day. It's just no heavy rain, but just enough to make it dreary and cold, cold rain out there. I did walk and got pretty well soaked. So come in and dried up and come out to the shack here. I guess I'll try. We're trying to make the luncheon this time, but I guess Chuck's planning on coming with me, and we're going to meet Lawson. I've got a couple of radios I need to deliver to him, so he's going to come to the old friends meeting there Thursday. So I guess a few of you probably know Lawson, but he plans on attending. So I'll send it on. Go ahead, Jimmy. K4JAL. It's WB4NKL.
WB4NKL, K4JAL. Good afternoon, everybody. We got about 48 degrees here. It's rainy. Had a little ice this morning, but we didn't get out, so we didn't care. Things are going good. I won't make it to the luncheon on Thursday because it's too far. But I noticed that Glenn's got a heck of a deal on 7300 that somebody ought to pick up on. I've got a 7610 I use religiously, so I don't need it. But that's the way that goes. And I noticed that Boone's going to come up next. Boone, I hope you got your driving privileges back. But if you don't, that's all right. You got a good chauffeur. Over to you, WA4EVK, K4JL.
J4JL in the group, WA4EVK. Yeah, I've had him back for a couple months now. I'm glad the chauffeur is pretty good at it because she tends to not let me drive. One of those things. About 43 degrees here in Pickens. Like everybody else, kind of a dreary, nasty rain. I'm running the AF68 into the Swan Mark 1 with an SDR receiver. Pretty well the same here. My 160 antenna will be back up and in place in the next couple of days, but I'm not tackling it right now. That's about it here for right now. Got some great signals out there. Hope it stays this way. And over to WA4FJQ to take it. WA4EVK.
WA4EVK, this is WA4FJQ. Okay, Tom and High Point. Yeah, the signals are just blasting in here today. I can't complain like I usually do about all the noise, and I can't hear anybody and all that kind of stuff. It's running really well. But if anybody out there hears the modulation on this AF68 sounding like it's a little too much, please tell me. I got to playing around with it, and it's one of those things, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, I didn't pay attention to that. Yeah, the rig here is the AF68 and the PMR8 receiver feeding the Centurion, Tentec Centurion amplifier, putting about 200 watts carrier, so around 800, I guess, on peaks and that sort of thing, feeding a inverted V in-fed and using a D104 mic. The weather here is the same as everybody else reported, just dreary overcast with a very light rain. We wish we could get a whole lot more. We're really dry. All right, let me turn it down to Glenn. N4AK, this is WA4FJQ.
Okay, Tom. WA4FJQ, this is November 4 Alpha Kilo. And Tom, you're running about a 15 over 9 down here in Sunset, South Carolina this afternoon. Current temperature is 46 degrees over here, Boone, so you're colder. Or your thermometer is screwed up, or mine is. So it's 46 in Sunset, hazy. The rig this afternoon is my FTDX10, and the antique part is the SB200. Looks like I've got about 115 watts carrier output this afternoon to an end-fed antenna. And the ICOM 7300 was sold very shortly, so it's no longer listed. So there you go. So Mir, over to you this afternoon. WF2U, November 4 Alpha Kilo.
Yeah, Roger. N4AK. And the net, this is WF2U. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Keep dry. And it's 43 degrees here and raining on and off. Let's see. I'm running the Yesu station again. I figured that the conditions might not be that great, and maybe the 100 watts from my GRC19 is not going to be enough, so we're running the Yesu separate transmitter and receiver into the Yesu FL 2100B, about 320 watts out, into the end-fed halfway for 80 meters. And we've been busy just to do some outdoor stuff. Did some chopping yesterday, a big fallen tree, finished chopping it up and taking the leftover parts of the trunk, which is about 3 feet across, out to dump it in the wood pile. And today, of course, I'm forced to take the day off and just relax. Nothing much to do outside. Signals are not bad, but conditions are not as good as they were last week. But here is some reports. So Steve, you are S9, Dave S9, Mark between S8 to 9, John S9, Cliff S9, Jimmy between 7 and 8, some QSB, Boone between 9 and 5 dB over 9. You actually have the strongest signal so far, Boone. Tom 7 to 9 on the S meter, Glenn S8 to 9, and Buddy Charlie and what's this here? Chuck. You're going to get reports in the next round. So with that, it goes to Buddy. WB4ARK and the group. This is WF2U.
WF2U, WB4ARK. Okay. Signals are quite good today. Band is very quiet. And the weather conditions here are 43 degrees, and it was drizzling rain. I think it's kind of stopped now. It's not doing anything, I don't believe. And so that's about it on the weather front. We needed that rain, and we got it. So finally. So I guess we had our family in from Nashville yesterday area. 6 of them. So we had a nice little get together. They brought food and we had food, and so we all put it together and had a nice Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving dinner. And then they retired back to Asheville. So that's about it for us at this point. So B4ARK, W4MEC.
Okay, buddy, B4ARK and the group, W4MEC. Real good, fellas. Good copy all around. Good signals. Band is quiet. And the modulation's okay. Let's see. Well, the pot's where it normally is. So talk up close to the mic here. We got about 47 degrees here, something like that, and overcast and drizzly. It really didn't get much of a rain here. They kept changing the forecast, so we didn't get any ice or anything, which is good. Cliff, is that Lawson, W4EMF Lawson, or a different Lawson? So, if it's EMF, I know he moved from Asheville to Charlotte to his son's place over there, and he recently got all his antennas back up. So, but I wonder if that's a different Lawson. And glad, Glenn, you sold that rig. And hope the fella that got it can fix that other radio. That other radio. What else we got? That's about it for me on this round. So I'm going to send it up to Chuck there. N4IYQ in the group W4MEC.
Okay, Charlie, W4MEC and old friends, N4IYQ. Well, likewise, about the same as Cliff, 41 degrees. It's kind of a misty rain. I just got back in the door, had to run to the grocery store to pick up a few items. And if you would, keep your thoughts and prayers for Virgil Wyrick, W4OLJ, any of those that knew Virgil. Cliff and I made a drive down to Sweetwater to see him Friday, and he'd been battling pancreatic cancer, and we were literally coming up the street, and the phone rang. I thought it was the daughter telling us to come to the front door or the back door, as we normally come through the basement where his shack is, and he had just passed. So keep his family. You thought he was quite the Southern gentleman. It certainly did make for a down day. We were looking forward to getting to see him again. Seen him a couple times earlier in the year. K4EL to pick it up and take it in 4IYQ.
For IYQ, sorry to hear about passing out of hand. You'd always hang on to that. So yeah, not much here. I meant to check in Thursday, but my wife talked me into doing a 5K turkey trot Thursday morning at 8 o'clock in 40-degree weather. I managed to come in fourth in my age group in the 60 to 69, and fourth of a total of 7, so I'm middle of the pack. Not a highly competitive race, obviously. Let's see, I did crack open that DX60 and did a few things yesterday, so we'll kind of save the results for the next round, build some suspense there. I think last time I was on here, I had a lot of comments on the audio, so I'm changing a few things, so I look forward to additional comments and see if I'm doing any better with some highs. So I think it goes back to Steve, N4LQ, K4EL.
Okay, this is N4LQ. Do we have any late check-ins? right. Well, Gene, I do hope you can get that DX60 on there up for the next round, because your audio is just real muffled and bassy, and I couldn't understand most of what you said, although you had plenty of carrier power. Let me see here. I'm going to turn off this amplifier. All right. And I'm running about 12 watts. This is about 12 watts right here, directly from the TX86. We'll see how this does. Well, we had a very good Thanksgiving here. We had both the kids and their spouses and my sister here for the week, and I think the highlight of the whole thing was when my son and I went to Ollie's. You know, Ollie's has good stuff cheap. That's their motto. And man, that place was packed with stuff. I couldn't believe it. But he bought a couple of LED strip lights with a cord on them. Real nice. Had a switch on the cord, and they are linkable. And they're rated at 3,000 lumens a piece. Well, he was going to put them on the dresser for his wife to help so she could see her hair, and he put them both on, one on each side, and it just totally just blinded her. So he ended up not using one and put it up overhead to try to cut down on the light. Man, I tell you what, and $10 for all that light. It's just amazing what these LEDs have done for lighting, and I'm sure they don't take hardly any current at all. Well, let's see. Glenn, okay on selling your 7300, so that's gone. I think there's going to be a lot of those on the market pretty soon. It's going to be, because that's the most popular rig there is, and now they come out with a new model, the Mark II, so expect some good deals on 7300s. They're pretty good rigs. And let's see, as far as audio reports, let's see, Tom, you were asking, and I'd say you're on the borderline of too much modulation. You can stand to back it down a little bit, but it does sound excellent, very loud, and you got your antenna back up, and I wonder what you had to do to accomplish that, because I know it got blown down or torn down in the storm, I guess. So Buddy's signal was the strongest. Your 30 over, just absolutely killing me up here. So anyway, let's see. Everybody else sounds good, good strong signals, and beautiful audio. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dave. And again, I'm running 15 watts. That's what it's showing here, 15 watts carrier out of the TX86. WA4L LR, N4LQ.
Okay, N4LQ, WA4LLR. Well, you dropped way down. You're only 25 over now. So, I'm blasting in up here with your 15 watts. I tell you, the band is wonderful today. Some of the stronger signals I've heard from everybody. Just doing a super job. Both the T150s sound good. Of course, the Globe Kings blowing smoke. Jimmy, sorry that you're not going to be coming down to the lunch. Hope you're still planning on the one Saturday. The F68s are doing a great job, and Tom, you've got tremendously loud audio. I mean, it's just room filling, and I'm not fussing about it. It's just, of course, LMAC audio is loud, and it sounds, I like it. It sounds great. Glenn, glad you sold that thing. I've wrestled with trying to take it off your hands, and I'm so glad that somebody's got it. The 7300's got some of the best sounding audio for a modern rig that I know of. Amir, thanks for the signal reports. Buddy, glad you had your 6 family members from Asheville to come in and bring food. That's always good. Charlie, sorry that you and Chuck made it down there and Virgil had just passed. Yeah, we've been praying for him ever since we heard that he had pancreatic cancer. And Virgil was quite a fellow. I've not seen him since Norm's funeral, but I always enjoyed talking to Virgil. And Gene, congratulations on placing so well in the turkey trot. More power to you. That's about all I can say. We had a really good Thanksgiving get-together. All of us gathered at my daughter's house. And, of course, Irvina cooked too much, as always, and we consumed it. So it was a good get-together. Let's see here. Space weather. Sunspot activity is kind of picking up a little bit. Sunspot number 74, solar flux index is 160, and the K is 2.33. So good solar flux and not too much geomagnetic instability. A few items from this day in history. On this day in 2022, OpenAI launched its generative AI chatbot, ChatGPT. And let's see what else is going on this day. On this day in 1981, the United States and USSR opened talks to reduce intermediate range nuclear forces. Of course, we're getting away from that now. On this day in 1965, Ralph Nader, his book Unsafe at Any Speed hit the bookstores, and of course the centerpiece of that was his condemnation of the Corvair. On this day in 1939, the USSR attacked Finland. On this day in 1876, the first Thanksgiving football game was played. On this day in 1874, Winston Churchill was born. On this day in 1835, Mark Twain was born. On this day in 1609, Galileo began observing the moon, and to his amazement, it was not smooth, but had mountains and valleys. And on this day in 1954, while napping on her couch, Ann Hodges of Alabama was hit by an 8.5-pound meteorite that tore through the roof, ricocheted off her radio cabinet, and hit her in the torso. She's the only known human injured by a meteorite. Here it comes, Mark, KG4IUQ, WA4LLR.
This is KG4IUQ. You're sounding good here, Dave. Very good. With the Harvey Wells TBS 50D. Steve sounds good with the TX86 15 watt carrier. And John, KZ4 Bravo, is asking me how much power I'm running. Says that he believes I might be possibly running 10 kW with an amplifier. I can only run the legal limit, if you know what I mean. No, I'm just kidding. I am barefoot now, and my power is about 100 watts peak with what Steve said was about 16 watts a few weeks ago with his LP 700. I think your T150 sounds good. And Cliff, NKL, you're sounding good with the Globe King 500. Boom, EVK, the AF68 sounds very good. And Tom, FJQ, you sound good here. Glenn, N4AK, sounding good with the FTDX 10, 115 watts carrier. And Mayer, WF2U, with the Yaesu station. Been chopping up some wood from a fallen tree. Hope you're doing well. and Buddy ARK. You sound just 100% perfect here. You sound very, very good. You had a nice Thanksgiving meal yesterday, or a nice meal. I believe it was associated with Thanksgiving. I'm not sure. But Charlie, good. MEC Charlie, very good sound here. And Chuck, N4IYQ, you sound very good. And I'm sorry to hear about Virgil. I wish the best and pray for his family and friends. Gene, K4EL, you were light in here. The tone was difficult to hear. Almost couldn't hear you. I'm needing to figure out how to use the meter on this Hammarland HQ110. Everybody has a signal level of about 0 or 1 right now, and I don't really know. I'm going to have to figure out how to set this thing up or fix it or whatever. Been experimenting with a relay box. I'm very happy that Steve showed his example of a project relay box, because I've made one and I believe it's just astounding at what it allows me to be able to do. It's really, really good. I've been trying to figure a way to do CW with these transmitters, and it works pretty well. The last time on the Sunday net, my Harvey Wells TBS 50 didn't work well. Wasn't putting out a signal when I first tried to check in, and it was because if you let the thing sit for a while, it can do that. I don't know. I assume that's just something that goes along with that kind of radio, and I just had to kind of readjust the knobs a little bit, and it was resonated, and it worked. I'll turn it over now to John, KZ4 Bravo. This is KG4IUQ.
Okay, KG4IUQ in the group, KZ4 Bravo. Mark, if you ever connect your T150 to an amplifier, the FCC is going to lock you up and throw away the key, because you're well over S9 barefoot. You're a little bit stronger than Steve, who has a fantastic antenna farm. So you may have a fantastic antenna too, but you may be getting your output from power. I know Steve does his with the antenna, because Steve never got anywhere below S9 at 12 or 15 watts. It's just amazing how well AM does on low power, although, you know, when the conditions go bad. And I think part of it is that my S meter, when you get above S9, it's like the signals slam into a brick wall. It just doesn't want to go any higher. So, because Steve was like 10 over 9, and when he went to his 15 watts, it was still 5 over 9. You know, how is that possible? So I think it's a brick wall on my S meter. But his signal was quite copyable with no amplifier, and this really blows me away. Shifting gears, they mentioned Ralph Nader. He's a guy that I love to hate, because I used to love Corvairs. Now, that's a qualifier. The early Corvairs had a design swing axle rear end that was identical to a Volkswagen. And if you pushed it like a Volkswagen, it would bite you. It could easily cause you to wreck. So Ralph was correct on the early Corvairs that they were as dangerous as the ever-popular Volkswagen. It's just that a Volkswagen couldn't go fast enough to get in trouble. I guess that's how they missed the stigma. But a 65 and later Volkswagen had Corvair had a fully independent rear suspension. It had a universal joint at the transaxle and at the wheel. So the wheel, instead of the top of the wheel cocking in or the bottom of the wheel cocking in, it could go either way, and that's what would do you in. But the Corvair 65 and later, the wheel stayed vertical like it was supposed to, and those were great handling cars because they had basically four-wheel independent, true independent suspension, and the 65 and laters could generate a lot of power because they really souped up the turbo Corvair and went to more more displacement and a better turbo. And I had a dune buggy that had a Volkswagen belly pan and a Corvair suspension, and converted over on the back. And it was 250 horsepower because you could take the 140 horsepower large valve engine and turbocharge it. Normally they turbocharge the small valve engine so it wouldn't make too much horsepower. And that thing was insanely quick and handled, I can make back turns at 35 miles an hour. That's a right angle back turn. So it was, the later ones, after Ralph had trashed them, they got it straight and nobody wanted to buy them. And one last comment, Ralph Nader was an idiot. Buckley interviewed him one night and they were talking about motorcycles, and Ralph Nader wanted to put seat belts on motorcycle riders. Now that's what's known as suicide. So he was, just an idiot. So I have said my piece. So take it away, Cliff. WB4NKL on the group, KZ4B, over.
Yeah, KZ4B, it's WB4NKL. I was just trying to picture that in my mind. That seatbelt on a motorcycle. That would be a strange thing, I think. Charlie, it's Lawson Summerall, K4EMF. It's going to be at the luncheon, so I guess a few of the guys know him, and he's currently in Charlotte. I got a couple radios, and he was going to drive up here, and then I mentioned that I was going to be in Spartanburg, or could be in Spartanburg on Thursday, so he decided to be a lot closer for him to come to the luncheon. That was, like Chuck was talking about Virgil, that was a strange experience. We literally missed seeing him alive by about 5 minutes. He just passed away right before we pulled up, so strange feeling. Not too much Steve. The 12 watts is all you need. Coming up this direction, you're still about 20 over S9. Everybody's a good signal, except I was having trouble with K4EL. I couldn't copy much of his audio. Just I could hear I had the carrier, but the audio was pretty weak. So I think if we can get a DX60 going, it'll be an improvement on AM. Go ahead, Jimmy. K4JAL, WB4NKL.
Well, here I am. I'm on the ART-13 as usual in this shack and listening on a little goober of a whatever it is I'm running. Can't remember. Anyway, I'm doing enough to get out because everybody heard me, I think. The turkey's gone, and I'm glad, but I enjoyed him. And Dave, I will be coming Saturday to the Over the Hill bunch. I hope Terry shows up. I hadn't seen him in Coon's age. That's about all I got. Over to you, Boone. WA4EVK, K4JAL.
K4JAL in the group. WA4EVK. Signals are unbelievably good. Steve, just to give you a comparison, Dave is running about 25 over in here, and you stayed at 10 over when you cut your power back. So, doing a good job up there. That's about it on my end. I've running about 300 watts at this point, 300 watts out. So kind of overpowering the conditions, but that's okay. And with that, I'm going to send it on over to Tom. WA4FJQ, WA4EVK.
WA4EVK in the group. This is WA4FJQ. Okay, thanks, Boone. Yeah, everybody's just banging in here today. I have nothing to complain about or whine about. Buddy, I think you've got to keep it on a really high point. But Steve and John, everybody else is just about as strong. Yeah, Steve, when you dropped the amplifier off, you stayed just as strong here as you were to start with. Pretty amazing. But at any rate, I backed the modulation down a little bit, Steve, and if it still sounds a little strong, tell me about it when we move the final round here, and I'll back it down just a little bit more. Dave, thanks for the comment about being strong up your way. You're equally strong down here. Yeah, we had a nice Thanksgiving. 2 out of 3 daughters showed up, and we didn't have much left over since we went light to start with, knowing there wasn't going to be a big crowd, so that all worked out really well. That's about all I've got to say. I'm going to turn it down to Glenn, N4AK. This is WA4FJQ.
Okay, Tom, WA4FJQ. You're still running 1509 here in Sunset. Nice signal. This is November 4 Alpha Kilo. And, well, the guests from Thanksgiving have left. We had some very nice house guests for several days. And I looked on my appointment calendar for this coming week, and you older fellas will appreciate this. No doctor's appointment next week. How about that? Gee whiz. I'm not having a copy on Gene. I'm just not being able to copy him at all. Steve, your 12 watts still was 1009 here. And Mark, thank you for the signal report. You're running a great 1509 here in Sunset. Nice signal also. Very sorry to hear about Virgil, W4OLJ. Would often meet him at Shelby and his wife, Wilma, who had predeceased him. Such a nice couple. Virgil, we'll miss hearing his super strong signal on 3885, no question about that. So, Mir, to you this afternoon, WF2U N4AK.
Yeah, very good, Glenn. N4AK and the net. This is WF2U. Well, everybody's coming in very nicely, and I haven't given a report to Buddy yet. You were 5 and 9 in the previous round, and I don't see much change in signal strength. Sometimes it improves towards the end. but everything is like at the same level as when we started. Charlie, your carrier, it was S9, but your modulation was pretty low. And Chuck, you are 5/9. I could not copy K4EL, was down at the noise level, which is a little elevated. It's about S5 to 6. Got some atmospheric noise here, probably typical to when it's raining. And nothing much else, and it's a good timing almost for the end of the net, and I still have a few little things to do. Clean up after the dogs outside when they were out for a few hours, feed them, and then let them out again. That's my evening chores. That's before I even eat dinner. And so the timing of this net is pretty good as far as I'm concerned. Looking forward to the luncheon on Thursday. The weather forecast does not predict any rain, and I guess that the weather is going to be typical late fall, so nothing to complain about. And again, it's looking forward to it. The XYL might be with me, I'm not sure, because after the net we have a doctor's appointment at the same doctor for the same neurological kind of consultation. We both have the same kind of pinched nerve in the neck, and I squeezed my appointment for the same time and just wanted an MRI to see whether it's something that I have to address surgically, or my chiropractor can take care of it. It's not a big deal, but sometimes I don't sleep well because of that. But that's the way it goes. So we also planning to pay a visit to Rural King. I did a quick run around there. It's very interesting, but I didn't have the time to stop and really do shopping. I just took it in what kind of stuff they have. It's amazing. It's huge. So with that, it goes to Buddy. WB4ARK and the group. This is WF2U.
WF2U, WB4ARK, okay, Mir. Well, the signal level from your transmitter, Steve, is not too much different than it was when you were running a little higher power. Your 15 watts is getting into Lake Wiley just fine. Of course, I'm not that far away, so it should be. Everybody else except Gene is coming in quite nicely. We've got a good signal on everybody. Hello, test. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, test. And went to sit down on a small stool and kind of got tangled up with my feet and slipped, and my tailbone hit the railroad track, which was behind me, and I must have bruised my tailbone. So it's been giving me a little bit of pain when I get up from certain chairs. A couple of
couple of chairs caused me to have a little bit more pain than others. So we'll keep monitoring that, and it doesn't hurt when I go to bed at night and when I get up in the morning. So just certain conditions. So with that, we'll say 73, everybody, and over to WB4MEC. This is WB4ARK.
Well, good, buddy. WB4ARK and that WB4MEC. What is this mod percent here? I was, Mears' comment about my audio is kind of agreeing with my mod meter here, not mod percent, you know, the mod current. And I really have to speak up to get the meter to wiggle. And I'm already at 2 o'clock on the pot. I'm bringing it up a little bit. Might be this microphone. I don't know. I could switch over to D104, but I'll worry about that later. We're running the DX100 Bravo, receiving on the SX100 on the in-fed half-wave, 80 meter in-fed half-wave. Sorry to hear about Virgil. That was a sad note there, and even sadder to be in that position there, Chuck. Let's see, Thanksgiving, we had a good Thanksgiving here. The family, my son and daughter-in-law and 2 grands from across the road, made the long 400-foot trek to the house, and we all sat down and had a meal. It's 400 feet's a heck of a lot better than 725 miles. Let's see, I got a note here. I mentioned this to a couple fellows on 160 last night. The Council on Aging store here in Hendersonville, and it's kind of like a Goodwill, but people donate stuff. And my pastor at the Baptist church used to had a comment about those stores, especially a ton of them downtown Hendersonville. He said, they're all full of dead people's stuff. And that was about, that's kind of what it is. But somebody dropped off a ton of Lionel trains in the box, all kinds of cars and accessories and everything, and they put it on the Hendersonville Facebook page Thursday, Thanksgiving. Well, I was planning on going, but I got there around 11 o'clock, and one of the ladies in there said the line was down the sidewalk before they opened, people wanting to get in there to buy those trains. One fella bought $1,200 worth of odds and ends, and I got to looking at the prices, and they weren't that good. There's a really good price book guide called Greenberg's Price Guide, and they were bumping up there on the really high numbers there, so it wasn't a really good deal. But I did find a couple things that were good. But my wife got the cream of the crop there. She found a Thomasville dining room, what do you call it, hutch or whatever, with glass doors and drawers on the bottom and doors on the side. Something she's always wanted. And that thing was in mint condition. All the glass was there, nothing broken. The doors were all beautiful, all cherry, solid cherry. Tongue and groove drawers, the whole 9 yards. She got it for a whopping $85. So they'll be delivering that. And she's making room as we speak for them to drag it in here and put it in place. So she was a happy camper. And to top it off, it was her birthday. So she got a nice, about a $2,000 birthday present for $85. So she's a happy person. All right, let's see. Down to Chuck. N4 IYQ in the group. W4MEC.
Okay, W4MEC in the group, N4 IYQ, and I neglected lights go around. I'm on the AF68A driving the SP221. It's showing about 275 carrier, receiving on the PMRA. Yeah, sad about Virgil. Like I say, a true Southern gentleman. He will be missed, and really kind of perplexing. His wife passed with pancreatic cancer last November, so they were about a year apart, and he did do some proton therapy and chemo, and it just wasn't working, so he went a lot quicker than I think they anticipated. Certainly good signals on everybody, good audio all the way around. I struggled with Gene, got just a little bit here and there. And I think I saw in Henderson, North Carolina, not sure exactly where that is. Hope everybody has a blessed remainder of the weekend. Steve, thanks as always for calling the net. And I'll just make this my last one, since you make you a little shorter 73 round. K4EL in 4IYQ. Good day, gentlemen.
In 4IYQ, K4EL. So here I'm again on the MT710 with the correct or the intended set of parametric equalizer settings. Was using the wrong ones before, so hopefully this is a little better. It looks better on my end anyway, so again, comments welcome. DX60, I did get a chance to spend a little bit of time on that yesterday. Cracked it open. Someone had recapped it somewhere in the past, but it didn't look real recent, so may address that also. But looked good enough to fire up, so I brought it up on the variac and everything. Everything was fine. As I went through the tune-up procedure, I didn't get any meter readings on the plate and grid current, so thought I might have had a meter problem, so I tested that. But I got full range through the 1 milliamp. Got full range on the meter, so the problem's someplace else. Something's open maybe, but so that's the news on that. I'm picking through it and hopefully get it on there someday. But it's a rare occasion I get a chance to crack it open and work on things like that. Don't have a lot of space. That's the issue. You gotta tear up or set up and tear back down. But that's all I got. I'll probably hang around for 73 round. Not much else to say, but I'll definitely hang around for any additional comments on my audio. I'd like to get that straightened out. So I'll turn it back to Steve again, N4LQ K4EL.
All right, Gene, K4EL, it's N4LQ, cranking out 11 to 12 watts. I just checked here. Yeah, your audio is copyable now. I can understand every word you're saying, so that made a huge difference. Appreciate that. And Charlie, I can tell that's not a D104. It sounds like a Shure or something like that. Kind of Shure mics just sound a little kind of dull to me. D104s are much brighter and clear. They peak at the voice range up around 2,000 cycles or something like that. They just sound so much better on AEM especially. I've been using a D104 on my ICOM 7610 here on sideband, and it's a powered, of course you have to use the power mic when you're using a low impedance input like that, but it does a good job. All right, well, I think we've pretty well used up our hour, and appreciate everybody showing up. It's been a good net. Conditions have been absolutely beautiful. So let's just make a quick transmission type 73 round, and we can wrap it up for the night then. WA4L LR N4LQ.
Okay, Steve, fine business. Gene, I just wanted to say your audio was much more copyable on that last transmission. And Charlie, good luck, good deal on the Goodwill finds. Steve, thanks for calling. 73 to everybody, and have a great one. KG4IUQ, WA4LL.
Thank you very much. I'd like to say it's been a good net. Everybody have a good evening, and I will say that I forgot to mention K4J8L on the ART13. You sounded very good here. I'll turn it over now to KZ4 Bravo. This is KG4IUQ.
Okay, KG4IUQ and the group KZ4B, fine business. And thanks for calling the net, Steve. You really, you're kind of like IUQ with the T150. You really don't need an amplifier. I wish I was in that situation. But anyway, 73s, and I don't know if I'm going to make the Friday luncheon or not. I still haven't decided. I've got a lot of stuff on my plate, and but we will straighten that out later in the week, basically on Tuesday. So 7.3s, KZ4B, passing it on over to Cliff. Always strong Cliff, WB4NKL on the group, KZ4B over and clear.
KZ4B, it's WB4NKL. Well, good copy all the way around that time, and K4EL was sounding much better. That transmission, I was able to copy him that time. So whatever changes you made, it seems like improved it. 73s enjoyed it, and we'll look for everybody Tuesday, I guess. It's time's getting up and leaving here in a hurry. It's going to be the 2026 here before we know it. 73s, go ahead, Jimmy. K4JAL, it's WB4NKL.
WB4NKL, K4JAL. Well, it's been a good net. Mark, thanks for the signal report. Don't know much about what I'm going to do next week, but I'm sure we'll do something. Hope you guys have a good time at the luncheon. So, Boone, my wife don't like to ride with me either. Over to you. WA4EVK, K4JL, 7-3, everybody.
K4JL, WA4EVK. Yeah, she makes me ride passenger there, Jimmy. Thanks, Steve, for holding that. Enjoyed it. And, buddy, if you're still listening, I hope you heal up pretty quick and get rid of the pain. And with that, I'm going to send it on over to Tom. WA4FJQ, take it. WA4EVK will be clear.
WA4EVK, this is WA4FJQ. Okay, thanks, Boone. Gene, your signal came up quite a bit here in High Point. Very readable, very easy to copy. Whatever you did, it worked. So you're doing really well with that. Steve, thanks for calling the net, and 73s to everybody. WA4FJQ, off and clear, and turning it over to Glenn, N4AK.
Okay, Tom, thanks. And Steve, appreciate you calling the net for us. It was a pleasure meeting with all you gentlemen this afternoon. Hope y'all have a great week. So 7-3s. Over to you, Mir, WF2U, N4AK.
Roger, Glenn. Very good. N4AK, this is WF2U. Well, it was a nice net, and towards the end I could copy K4EL about a 6. And a nice big group, and signals are basically, we're good now. I think everybody increased a little bit. Looks like the band improved just a little bit, because several people went up about an S point or 5 dB or so over 9. So whoever was not already 5.9 plus. And again, looking forward to the luncheon. And 73 all, take care. Steve, thanks for running the net. I'm not sure whether I'm going to be out in the shack for the 80 meter, for the 160 meter net, but we'll see. So, buddy, WB4ARK and the group, this is WFTU 73.
Guess it goes to Charlie.
Let's see. Well, that's weird. WF2U in the group, W4MEC. I switched over to the D104, and I'm ended up at the same position on audio gain on the rig. So, might be getting a weak tube. We'll have to do some investigating. Yep, Steve, thanks for running the net today. We'll try and make 1864 tonight, and if not, we'll see everybody on Tuesday morning. 7-3 all, and y'all have a good rest of the afternoon. I know Chuck signed off in the last round, so over to Gene. K4 EL in the group, W4 MEC.
W4 MEC in the group. This is K4 EL. Thanks, Steve, for calling the net. I'll say 7-3 all and be clear on this transmission, and I'll turn it back to you, Steve, in
Yeah, okay, Gene, real good. Thanks, everybody, for coming tonight. Next net will be Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. here on 3715. And, of course, tonight, as every night, on 160, 1864 kilocycles at 8 o'clock p.m. 73s, this is N4LQ closing the net.